keep dreaming, even if you are called to be a daydreamer, keep dreaming and keep imagining big things in your life. And I promise you, if you keep going, those things will come to pass in your life.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Drew Tadia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Drew Tadia.
Welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in, for being a part of our True Form Life community. We're coming at you with a brand new show. We appreciate whether you're listening on terrestrial radio across the country or as a podcast around the world. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. So stick around. We got all that coming up.
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Tadia.
All right, welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. You heard all about Nathanael in the introduction, so without further ado, welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, hey Drew, thank you so much for having me today here. I'm really excited to be on the show.
It is our pleasure. I'm super excited to jump into this interview. I would love to hear from you, from your own words, more of who you are and what you do. So maybe we could start with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am here today because I have an incredible life story, and it's the reason because I do what I do today as a victorious mindset mentor and global inspirational speaker. So I'm gonna do it really quick because it's been a long life so far, but a good one, a hard one. So I'm starting with 1 year old when I was, got an incurable chronic illness which affected my own kidneys. I had to start doing dialysis treatment every night at that time, 3 times a week now at the moment. And so during my lifetime, I have heard 6 times by now that I shouldn't be able to live, walk, talk, or to anything. I had depression that led almost to suicidal actions, hearing loss of 80%, and pre-failed kidney transplant. And it has been crazy because there were so many things and lessons that I could learn, and I love to help people to use this story. I was always a believer to, that all things will work out together for good, but we have to take it, we have to turn it around, and we have that opportunity. And I love what I do today to help people to really develop a victorious mindset and to unlimit their own lives on the way while they are still here. And that's what I do today, and the reason why I do it.
So why did you decide to share your message with other people? Where did that come from? Because I'd imagine there's people in your position that don't want to be in the limelight, if you will. They just want to kind of go off to the side and do their own thing.
Yeah, I think it was back in 2016 when I made the final step to do something completely different. I did an apprenticeship. I lived the ordinary life that almost everyone does today. Working the full day and don't have any purpose. And then I realized at some point, well, I've gone through so much, why not using that and to get that across to other people, which maybe could help somebody at least that is struggling with whether a chronic illness or whether a difficult family situation or business situation. And in 2016, I really had the feeling I didn't know how to do it, but I knew it was time to step out and do something new. So I built a website, put my story in there, and then people somehow started to book me as a speaker, and that's the way it started.
That's great. So when you began your business, did you have any experience in that, or were you just kind of guessing and testing and trying to figure it out?
No, I actually not. I was far away from that because I didn't grow up in a, you know, in a business environment in my family. So I was really starting at the bottom. And the funny thing was the first ever booking, official booking that I got was talking in a business in front of 65 people. And that was back in Australia, in Sydney, where I used to live for 4.5 years. And it was crazy. I had no idea how to do it. I somehow found a speaking coach during that time that's how she helped me to prepare the message. And then, end of the day, I realized it's all about you being authentic, being yourself. And people don't so much care about what you say, but they care more about how you make them feel. And that's really my goal, to do that in every part of speaking that I'm doing.
So tell us more about some of the health issues that you've dealt with, and I'm interested to know what that mindset is like when someone tells you one thing and you're like, "No, I don't want to hear that."
Yeah, great question. Well, it happened so many times, and so probably the biggest, closest event was back in 2001 when I lost my own kidney. When I lost my third kidney transplant again after 13 months. And so the doctors told me that I will have to go to the dialysis 3 times a week for the rest of my life. Yet at the same time, I was I was 13 years old, and I was dreaming about, traveling in the future and going into the world. And there was just, at that time, there was no option to do dialysis outside of the country. And so I went home and I realized, okay, this is reality now, but how can I be creative when it comes to the future? So an interesting thing happened. I created the power of imagination when I started to pull out some Australian pictures from any magazine that I had and put them on the bedroom wall. And so the interesting thing was that I looked at it every day from that day on. And as some of you might know, the power of imagination is like crazy, because if you start to see it and believe it, it all of a sudden, not in a fast way, but at some point, it just comes into your life. And this is exactly what happened about 10 or 11 years later, when a true friend of mine asked me if I want to join them. I still no idea how I'm going to do that. I would do, first time overseas and first time overseas doing my treatments that are life supporting. And so I just said yes, because I knew it was the moment. And so I never forget the first time I stepped into that plane and told them behind me that will never happen. Okay, now you got it. Here I am in the plane. I'm gonna there where I've dreamed to go. And so it's almost like, I love the power of imagination, where you can see yourself somewhere, and if you never give up, it truly will come to pass at some point.
What was it about Australia? Why did you want to go there?
For me, I just felt like a beautiful country at the time of 13 years old, and I just felt like I want to go there. And yeah, and then when I was there, I felt like, the whole, if you come from Switzerland, it's from a small country, you go to a country which is basically a continent. There's so much, different masses that you never imagined before. And that was possibly another turning point in my life where I got the transformation of extending my horizon to look bigger, to see bigger, to realize bigger, no matter what the limitations look like at the moment.
What did you do there?
I traveled around for 2 months. That was in 2010. And then I come back for 2.5 years. And then I went back again for 4.5 years. I did a leadership college for 3 years. And then used to live there for the rest of the 1.5 years to enjoy life, building the business and starting to speak.
So what was it like? What was treatment like for you when you were traveling? How did you make that possible?
Great question. For me, it was really exciting because, when it was a brutal movement out of my comfort zone, because I was always treated here. I felt like I have the best medical treatment in the whole world. And then I went into another country, there are certain things that you feel like they don't do it exactly the way they do it back home, and you freak out. And then, but then you realize, well, there are so many good and better things actually there than what I took back in my home. And I have to say, I've been since then, traveled to so many countries, and I was really, really surprised how great some treatment was in different parts of the world, even in Asia, and especially in Asia, where we often have, probably a limited view of what treatment can be like, or medical health. But I was really surprised. Some treatments were just fun to go there. It was like, it felt like being treated in a 5-star hotel. And so, that's the cool thing what you get to experience when you step out of the comfort zone.
So is this something that you still are doing every 3 weeks?
Yes. So I have to do that since back in 2001. Straight 3 times a week for 4.5 hours. I have to go to the hospital, clean my blood for 4 hours, and then until the next kidney transplant.
Wow. So are you waiting for another kidney transplant?
Exactly. So since 2019, I'm back on the waiting list, and I decided to do that because there were so many medical development in the last 20 years. So I decided to get it a go again. I can't lose anything anymore, because either I stay my whole life on dialysis, or I get another kidney transplant, which I hope 100% will work for the rest of my lifetime.
Okay, so what you talked about hearing, tell us about your hearing. Were you born without hearing, or was that hearing loss over time?
No, that was an event that happened. So I fell into a coma because of a brain brain bleeding. That was when I was 3 years old. So I fell in a coma, and after 2 weeks, the doctors called my parents, "Hey, please come into the ICU. There's nothing else we can do for you, son. We have to stop and turn off the life supporting machine." Until my parents come, the doctor did what they had to do, but at the same time, I started to talk again all of a sudden, even though there was no reason to do so. And then there was no brain damages up until I had a high blood pressure with 4 years old, and then by a lot of medication, by the side effects, I lost part of my hearing.
Did you say that was 80% of your hearing?
Yeah, about 85%, yeah.
And then, so tell us about those challenges. What is that like dealing with? What can you hear, and what How does that work for you?
It's been, I think for me, it's one of the biggest challenges in my life, and especially when it comes to mental health as well. You automatically get disconnected from the world, whether you want it or not, and because if there's no full hearing, and I know the challenge is on the other side of the people that I talk to. I know my challenges, and so it's really hard to describe that in words. But it has not limited me in a way to do things. Even it has helped me in some terms, to help me to draw back a little bit from the masses and study about myself and know about, hey, where are my strengths, where are my passion, where are my values that I can develop in my room or in my back room, in my living room or whatever, where you might not have, a response to that when you are fully healthy, because you always automatically go with the masses, which is great. But I feel like fully a privilege in that to have been able to step back a little bit from everything and learn more about myself. So there's always a pro and contra. It's still a hard thing to live with. It's an everyday challenge. But yet I made the best what I could do. I went to Australia. I couldn't speak English before. I learned that language, even though I couldn't hear that much. I'm trying to best communicate with people, and so there's always a way to make things happen if the will is there. That's what I believe.
I love that. I'd like to tell you a quick story. I went to Australia to play baseball, actually, and they have a different slang. Like, they have different words and different way they say things. And I mean, I was a quiet person to begin with, but I got there and I didn't understand I didn't understand them. And it sounds funny because it's English, but I get to and it's a bunch of guys, and they speak quickly, and there's slang and there's different words. And for the first 3 weeks, I didn't really have much conversation with too many people. And then after I got to know them, ended up being there for 6-7 months. And about a month or a month and a half in, I was joking around and messing around with the guys, and they said, "We thought you didn't like us because you didn't say anything." And I said, "I couldn't understand a word you guys were saying."
Yeah, that happened. But yeah, I mean, it was probably for me, it was a good thing. If you understand Australian, you understand a lot of other English-speaking countries much better. So
yeah, for sure. How did you learn? Did you take classes? How did you learn English?
Yeah, so I did English school for 2 months before I started college, but it was more about grammar and vocabulary. I couldn't speak that much when I started college, and then the first year was pretty hard. I was so glad they have PowerPoint slides to get at least some point of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't ask me how I did it. I probably wouldn't do it that way again. It was brutal hard, and probably will first live there for a few months until I really can speak fluently, and then do the college. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, you miss out of a lot of things because you have to get after it all the time.
How many languages do you speak?
So English, German, Swiss German, and I'm learning currently Italian.
That's awesome. So, it's funny. I actually spent some time in Germany as well, and I thought it was amazing. Like, I grew up in Canada, and so everyone thinks in Canada you speak French and English, but that's more Eastern, at least how I grew up. And then you take a little bit in school, and I was really bad at it in school. So I As soon as I had the option to not take it, I stopped taking it, which is obviously a mistake now because I wish I knew more languages. Anyways, I know one language. And I thought it was so interesting when I was in Germany, like most people knew 2, 3, 4 languages. And I just felt so almost isolated, or deprived. I was like, these people know so many languages and I've got one.
Well, if you get English, then you get pretty good in this world.
Yeah, that's
the good part of it.
It's true. I mean, English is spoken in most places, so you're pretty good. But but I feel like that's an advantage to those in European cultures or your countries are very close, and it's easy to well, I wouldn't say it's easy, but you have more of an opportunity to learn more languages in a shorter space or area.
Yeah. Well, I think it's when it comes to language, it's pretty easy today to learn it online or whatever. So it's more like, for me, I'm really interested in cultural things as well. And with the language, it comes a lot of cultural things already that you feel like more attracted to it. And I like that, but each person is different, so yeah.
So when you go and speak on stage, or when you go to share your message, what is that main message that you want to portray to your audience?
Great question. For me, my main goal is to feel people, to let them feel empowered, inspired, to live above to live the unlimited life and live above the limitation they have, the circumstances they have, and especially to develop that victorious mindset that we all have a choice to do on a daily basis. It's not about where we come from, who we are, or what we have or don't have. It's all about the mindset, making a daily choice to consistently keep in the track of where we want to go, what we want to have, and who we want to be. And that's my heart and passion, to really uplift people to get beyond their everyday struggles and not keeping them away from who they can be, what they can have, and where they can go.
And so what would you suggest or recommend for some of the people right now that are struggling? It's a difficult world right now. I feel like it's easy to lose your focus and, get caught up in negativity or the things that we don't have, instead of having that mindset of abundance and gratefulness. Do you have a message to share with anyone in that regard?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for me, it's absolutely 3 things: gratefulness, positivity, and of course, never giving up. And that's a decision I personally have to do every day, to really see the positive things, to get, to lay aside the negative things that always attacking us daily. And looking around and looking up what I'm grateful for, what's here, what's there, what's in me, what's around me that I still have, instead of not having anymore. And I was blessed to learn that in the early stages of my life, when I lost my organs, when I lost almost my life a few times, when I heard a few sentence about I will never amount to anything or whatever. And but I want to encourage you. Nobody has to go so much deep that you have to realize at the bottom of your life. It's something we all can learn, and at any given level that we are at the moment in life. And it changes the course of our life. It navigates us to the right direction with on the boat that we are. It navigates us to the right direction we want to go in our lives.
So what is the next step for you? Do you have anything planned in the near future? Do you have another trip? What do you have going on?
I wish Corona would be away, so my travel
we all?
list is long. But I know I'm not the only one. No, right now I'm really this year focusing on my emotional health to build that up, to clean up some past stuff. In regarding to my chronic illness, that still things that I'm not really okay with, and so I do this year. And the longer term is, of course, constantly building my business, my reaching people around the globe, traveling the world, and building as well a non-profit organization that one day will build hospitals in slums to give access to people, emotional health, physical and spiritual health in slums where people have no chance to get anything of that. Because I realized that the reason I'm still here today is of great medical care, and I didn't choose that. I am blessed to have had that and still have that, but no, not everyone has the choice to do that, and I believe those who have things have kind of a responsibility to give to them that don't have it. So that's something that I believe, and I'm really excited for the future. Even though it's not going the way it should be right now for everybody, but we will be back on track one day, and it will make us even more stronger during this time.
That's right. All right, Nathanael, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap things up?
I just want to say, no matter where you are, what you do or have done, just never ever give up, and every day get up again. Keep dreaming, even if you are called to be a daydreamer, keep dreaming and keep imagining big things in your life, and I promise you, if you keep going, those things will come to pass in your life.
Fantastic. Now, is there any a website, or if someone wants more information or details about yourself, that we could direct them to?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go on nathanaelzurbruegg.com, where you can check out more about my life story. There's also my business website included, and you get some other services. And on the business website that you will find, which is called Unlimited, you will find all the services. And as well, if you would like, on both websites, there's the free ebook, 4 Steps to Unlimit Your Life, which you can download for free. It's a little workbook that will help you making some of the first steps towards the unlimited life.
Fantastic. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Nathanael. We appreciate your time and everything that you're doing to inspire this world and make it a better place.
You're welcome. I'm so glad to have been here. Thank you so much, Drew.
You're welcome.
True Form Life.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community. You can always find us on Facebook.com/TrueFormLife. We post up there a couple times a day on our story. We're always trying to bring you more content around living a healthy lifestyle, whether that be nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. We also have free challenges that we do at least once a month. So if you follow us along there, you'll be able to join maybe a plank challenge or a squat challenge, Tabata challenge, whatever it may be. We'd love to have you join us. We're also on Instagram.com/DrewTadia. Again, we're posting up there a couple times a day along with our story, all dedicated to keeping you fit and healthy and on track. Our main website is trueformlife.com. If you want to check out some of our products, some of our services, or if you just want some great content from videos to blog posts and recipes and more, we got all that at trueformlife.com. Once again, thank you so much for being here. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Tadia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Tadia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.